Americans pride themselves on transparency, security, and economic strength. We celebrate our institutions, trust our history, and believe our most sacred symbols are beyond question. Yet right now, in the heart of the United States, one of the most guarded and emblematic vaults in the world is at the center of a growing controversy, not because it was hacked or invaded or broken into, but because some of the most powerful voices in the country are openly asking a question that was once considered taboo. Is America's gold actually there? This isn't a conspiracy theory whispered on fringe forums. This is a question brought into the light by billionaires with global influence and echoed by senators who say we've been denied access to what is supposed to be the backbone of American financial credibility. And if this question about Fort Knox itself doesn't make you lean in, then nothing will. Fort Knox is more than just a storage facility. It's a symbol of national strength, written into the story of American resilience. After the Great Depression, when economic confidence was shattered, the government centralized much of the nation's gold under one roof. That vault, located in Kentucky, became shorthand for stability. When markets falter, commentators remind us that the gold is safe in Fort Knox. Policymakers lean on its presence as proof that the United States has a backbone of hard assets, not just paper promises. The narrative works because for generations, Americans have accepted it without question. But that acceptance was rooted in something that hasn't been done in more than 7 decades. A full, comprehensive public audit of the gold reserves. What changed? It's not a shadowy leak or a secret investigation. It was a billionaire posting questions on social media. Elon Musk, one of the most followed public figures in the world, began asking whether the gold was actually there. His posts weren't backed by evidence, at least not publicly, but they sparked a conversation that was too big to ignore. Very quickly, others in the political sphere began echoing similar concerns. One senator claimed repeated attempts to inspect Fort Knox were denied. And when the President of the United States is asked point-blank about whether the gold is there, and he dismissed the question, the public takes notice. According to official records, the bullion depository holds roughly 147 million troy ounces of gold, valued at hundreds of billions of dollars. Yet, the most recent comprehensive audit took place in 1953. Later, inspections were partial, controlled, and never fully transparent in the way ordinary Americans might expect from institutions holding such vast wealth. Officials insist the gold is there and under strict security, guarded by federal law enforcement and backed by decades of protocols. But critics point out something very simple. If the public cannot independently verify it, how can the narrative of certainty truly hold? To understand why this matters, you have to strip away abstractions about economics and look at the psychological impact. Fort Knox isn't just a depository, it's a national myth. It represents strength, reliability, a promise that no matter how unstable markets get, the US has something real backing its economy. But myths crumble when transparency fails. Americans are uncomfortable with secrets, especially when they involve national wealth. This is not just about gold, it's about trust, confidence, the belief that institutions work for the citizen, not behind their backs. Over the decades, Fort Knox has stored features of history few people know about. During World War II, it housed priceless historical documents, including the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights, to protect them from threat. That fact alone reveals something people rarely think about. Fort Knox isn't just a vault for gold. It's a repository for objects that define the nation's identity. It's also a reflection of how the government has historically managed assets in times of crisis. But as the world grows more complex and transparency becomes more demanded by citizens in all sectors, the question of what's inside Fort Knox becomes less academic and more urgent. The current debate has three major phases: officials who insist everything is accounted for, but won't support a full audit; critics who argue that without independent verification, there is no real certainty; a public caught between trust in institutions and the desire for accountability. This isn't fringe anymore. It's mainstream, and it's fracturing conversations about economic stability in the USA. If Fort Knox were found to be missing even a fraction of its reported assets, the implications would be seismic. Not just economically, psychologically. Trust in government statements would erode. Markets could react violently. Institutions that depend on perceived stability would be forced to re-examine assumptions that have held for decades. But even the possibility of such a scenario is enough to keep people watching, questioning, and debate. The fact that we're even talking about Fort Knox in 2026, not as a matter of history, not as trivia, but as a present controversy, tells you something critical about our time. We live in an era where old assumptions are breaking under the pressure of modern transparency demands, where billionaires can challenge publicly guarded secrets, where citizens, empowered by information and platforms, can demand answers previously unthinkable. So, the real question isn't whether the gold is there, it's whether we are ready to demand the truth. And you, what do you think about this story? Leave your answer in the comments. See you in the next video.